From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, December 5th, this is the deadline for the Haas Farms contest. Here's the light decorating contest here. Go to historichaasfarms.com/lights contest. And this is where you can get more information on this contest with over $2,000 in prizes. Be sure to check it out. The deadline is tomorrow. So kind of one last reminder. Now we do have a break from the wet weather. Of course, most of us saw that today. The coast did see a little bit of a stray shower activity out there today, but for the most part, everyone will be dry tomorrow before the next round of rain comes in on Wednesday. And this round of rain looks pretty impressive, especially for the coast, obviously, and then even the valley could be picking up a decent amount of rainfall as well. Snow levels will start off fairly high, above 6,000 feet, but by Thursday, that's when those snow levels will start to drop, and then it looks like maybe a bit of a break from the wet weather once again toward the end of the week and even through most of the weekend. But Saturday, there might be a kink in there. I'll show you here in a second. Let's get you through the morning hours here for your Tuesday. And you can see it's going to be not too terribly cool for the coast. Low 50s, should be dry, not only for the coast, but for the inland areas and also for Trinity County. We take you out to the valley. It's not going to be too terribly cold in the morning. Should be somewhere in the low 40s for those early morning lows. Siskiyou, Modoc County, low 40s, although we're looking at some patchy fog out there, by the way, especially for some of those inland valleys. East Mountains dropping down into the low 30s by 6 a.m., so definitely one of the colder starts to the day. Now, you can see here, this is the low pressure system I've got my eyes on. You've got the colder air wrapping around within that low pressure. So these speckled clouds right here, that's the colder air. This right here is an atmospheric river, and it'll be mainly aimed at the Pacific Northwest for tomorrow. But this batch of moisture and rain will push through Northern California by the time we get into Wednesday. And you'll see that here on Futurecast. Of course, tomorrow, everyone is looking at dry conditions. We probably will begin to see a few more clouds roll in for the second half of the day for the coast, but everyone else looking at mainly sunny skies. Let's take you into Wednesday early morning. There's that moisture I was talking about heading right into the north coast. So this is when we start to see some of the heavy rainfall. And by the way, as this main system passes through, we could also be looking at the potential for some isolated thunderstorms. Now, I think the best chances may be along the north coast and some of the inland areas, but boy, it's not out of the question for maybe the valley to see some of that thunderstorm activity as well. That's the morning. We take you into noon by the time we get into Wednesday, and we're seeing the heaviest rainfall now up to the north and down to the south and east. And take note, we do have some snow in there as well, you can see, but these are elevations at least above 6,000 feet. So a lot of the lower mountain communities, Mount Shasta City, for example, Alturas, not to mention Susanville, Chester, I think it'll all be in the form of rain, at least on Wednesday. As we go into Wednesday afternoon, again, you see these little pockets here? These could be isolated thunderstorms developing for the second half of the day on Wednesday. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that as well, which would mean some brief periods of heavy downpours. And then by Wednesday night, we begin to see it begin to taper off. However, now the colder air is beginning to move in, and we're starting to see at least some of those lower snow levels. But the main batch of snow won't be here until we get into Thursday. Looking at the rainfall forecast totals, these are estimates, not to be taken as exact, but I think we could see upwards of 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, and in some areas, maybe more than that, especially if you get caught under any of these thunderstorms if they should develop. And there, of course, you can see the heavier rainfall off along the west. So we go into Thursday, we're seeing a lot more blue on the map now. This is when I think snow levels will be down to 3,000 feet. Mount Shasta City, Alturas, Chester, Bernie, Shingletown. But I think Weaverville and Hayfork, most likely in the form of rain. It could get as low as maybe a rain-snow mix for Weaverville and Hayfork, but at this point, I think it'll be mainly in the form of rain. Then by Friday, it dries out. Now Saturday, this model's gotten a little bit more aggressive on how far south and east it brings it. I think most of the rain on Saturday will be for the north coast, parts of Siskiyou County, Trinity County, but for now I'm going to keep the valley dry on Saturday, not to mention Sunday for everyone, and Monday will be dry for next week for everyone as well. Now, I was talking about those snow levels getting fairly low. To kind of give you an idea how much snow we can expect for some of those lower elevations, Mount Shasta City, look at that. Upwards of 4 to maybe 8 inches of snow. You can see Alturas a little bit less than that, as well as Chester and Susanville, but we're starting to see more of that accumulating snow. Don't think we're going to quite see what you're seeing here for Weaverville and Hayfork, as once again, I think it'll be more in the form of rain, but not out of the question, at least at some points in time, to maybe see that rain-snow mix, but most likely no accumulating snow. And that's also the case, by the way, for Hoopa. I don't anticipate you're going to see snow either. It'll be mainly above, say, 3,000 feet where you can start to see some of that accumulating snow. I wanted to show you the long range. Okay, once we get past this rain and snow for Wednesday, Thursday, we're going to dry things out. High pressure builds in. It warms back up again here as we go into Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. However, again, that kink on Saturday I was showing you. But here's what's going to happen. That's going to move down. Now, we're going to take you all the way through next week. So next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we start to see these pockets of cooler air begin to move down. So you've got one that had moved through earlier, probably sometime around next Wednesday or Thursday. This is looking at next Friday. You've got another one. By the way, there's going to be moisture. There's going to be rain and snow associated with these systems as it pass through as well. So you've got one here next Friday. You've got another one coming in behind that. And even beyond that, we've got more. So it's beginning to see, and I'm beginning to see this trend as we go along range, as we get to the middle and latter part of December, of the potential of a series, kind of a parade of storms, if you will, that'll be coming through. We'll see the rain and snow, we'll see a slight break, and then more rain and snow, then a break, then more rain and snow. Now, that's kind of how you want it, right? You don't want it all at once. Now, that's also a long way out, but that's a trend that I'm beginning to see a little bit more of, and that's more promising for potential for some more wet weather. More snow in the mountains, we could use it. More rain in the valley, we could use it. By the way, Redding is about 3 inches below normal for the season with rain. So we're getting a slow start to that rain, but we certainly could use more. And hopefully that pattern I was telling you about does come true. There you can see for tomorrow, those wave heights are really starting to increase. But the good news is those wave heights should at least begin to drop as we take you on into your Wednesday afternoon. Here's your marine forecast for your Tuesday. South winds at 10 to 20 knots, waves from the south at 7 feet, and also from the west at 10 feet, and a little bit higher at about 15 seconds there. There is that small correct advisory here for your Tuesday. So here's what it looks like tonight. Should be dry. We are going to see some patchy fog out there, especially for places that do see clearing here overnight, especially for a lot of those inland valleys, and not to mention those mountain valleys. But there you can see for tomorrow, temperatures mid-60s, could even get some upper 60s in there, depending on how much clearing we do see for the valley. 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, although places like Trinity County, not to mention the inland areas, in the low 60s there, low to mid 60s out along the coast. So let's take a look at your 7-day outlook, and I'm going to show you some of the rain and snow that we're going to see. So snow on Wednesday, 5,000 to 6,000 feet, and probably closer to that 6,000 foot range. But look at this. By Thursday, Mount Shasta City, you can see snow, not to mention Alturas, and not to mention Susanville. We get a break on Friday. Now, I've got a chance for showers for Mount Shasta City on Saturday, and then not to mention again maybe Monday of next week, but I think places like Alturas and Susanville will most likely be dry at that point. Your 7-day outlook for the valley, there's that rain on Wednesday, could be heavy at times, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm. On Thursday, a chance for some more showers. Snow levels dropping, but obviously not down to the valley. And there you can see on Friday we're dry, and for now I'm going to keep it dry through the weekend. We're going to have to watch Saturday. Not out of the question for some of those showers that maybe make their way to Redding, but slimmer chances on Saturday for places like Red Bluff and Chico. Your 7-day outlook for the North Coast, we've got that chance, of course, we got that rain, heavy at times, especially in the morning on Wednesday. Could even see an isolated thunderstorm for the coast and the inland areas, and maybe even for Trinity County as well. Snow levels fairly high, 5,000, 3,000 feet by Thursday. It may drop a little bit lower than that in Trinity County. We'll have to kind of wait and see. And then you see on Friday, we're seeing dry conditions and then maybe another chance for some shower activity for your Saturday. Sunday looking dry, and then, yeah, maybe Monday of next week, a slight chance for a few light showers.